Hello, my name is Jeff Hajic, and I am the owner and founder of Valaction Continuous Improvement. Today's topic is a pretty big one. I want to talk to you about what it means to become a lean organization. Now, the first thing I should probably do is define what I mean by lean. I use this term in a rather generic way. To me, it is synonymous with continuous improvement. Now, purists will probably think of it a bit differently. They look at continuous improvement as an umbrella term, and they see lean as one specific philosophy that falls under the broader category. To them, Six Sigma, the theory of constraints, quality circles, JIT or just in time, the Toyota production system, and the like are all specific philosophies that fall under continuous improvement. There are even offshoots and hybrids of the philosophies, such as the Lean Office and Lean Six Sigma, that get equal billing. But I like to think of lean and continuous improvement as interchangeable. The reason is that the lean philosophy centers, at its heart, on problem solving. Its actual goal is to improve the flow of value to the customer. But that is really pretty open-ended, isn't it? There's arguably not much your organization should be doing that doesn't contribute to getting more value to the customer. Lean does that, increases value, by focusing on solving all the problems that limit the flow of value. Now, lean does have many tools associated with it, but these are essentially prepackaged solutions. And one of the things about lean is that if a tool doesn't fit, the lean mindset says to come up with a better one. True lean does not require that you only draw improvement options from a prescribed set of tools. You can steal them from other disciplines or make up new ones. So thinking of it like that, the lean philosophy would be no different than continuous improvement as the general approach. Without the constraints of a prescribed set of tools, there is no problem with stealing tools from other philosophies to solve problems. So in theory, there is no significant difference in the approaches. In practice, if you are heavily focused on lean, you might gravitate to lean tools first, but you'd still be open to anything that works. But with that said, the next question is about how to label the change from where a company is today to where it hopes to be in the future. Some people might call it an initiative. It might be referred to as a program or a transformation. Some people say it's a journey. You might even hear it referred to as the development of a business system. The rub is that some individuals get wrapped around the axle a bit if there is any sort of implication that there is an end to lean. Interestingly, for as sophisticated and committed as the lean community is in solving problems, it wastes quite a bit of time dealing with the semantics of irrelevant terminology. The bottom line is, I've yet to see a company fail because they've called their efforts a program versus a transformation, or latched on to calling it lean versus continuous improvement. My advice is not to get worked up about stuff like this. Call it whatever you want, as long as you're making good choices to bring your organization closer to a continuous improvement culture. So now that I've said that, I'm going to give you my opinion on the terminology. Again, I use the terms lean and continuous improvement interchangeably. And I want you to think of your progression as developing a business system, and then continuously refining that business system. By business system, I mean a set of processes that dictates how you run your operation. Those processes will both require and create a continuous improvement culture. I also have to take a step back here and talk about an elephant in the room whenever there is a serious discussion about lean. I'm talking about its success rate. Now, it's true that companies that get it right have a tremendous advantage. Tremendous. Their profit margin can be multiple times higher than comparable companies. The productivity can be off the charts. The space required can be a fraction of what is needed in other organizations, and they can produce more with far less inventory on hand. The problem is that very few companies who attempt some sort of lean or continuous improvement effort actually achieve those impressive results. The truth is that only about 1 in 4 companies are happy with where they are after attempting a continuous improvement effort. That stat is compounded by the fact that it is surprisingly hard to find good data on the topic. I uncovered that one, the 1 in 4, about 10 years ago when I was writing my book, What Do You Mean I Gotta Be Lean?, and haven't seen much else since then. My guess is that there are 2 reasons for this lack of information. The first is that because the lean community is generally fragmented and funding a scientific study is expensive. The second reason, and I am making a big assumption here, is that the big lean organizations with the deep pockets already know from their own experience that the success rate is low. Confirming it through a study might not be a great way to increase confidence in the lean community. Now, there are a wide variety of reasons for this high failure rate. I get into my suppositions elsewhere, so I won't dive into it here. What I will address is that there is a challenge to make improvements without facts and data, and there are simply not a lot of facts and data about lean failures. People crow about their successes and write lots of books about them, but there's not many companies that agree to be showcased for how poorly they fared. So with that landscape in mind, I've tried to create a system to help you create an effective, continuous improvement-oriented business system while avoiding the pitfalls that are most likely to be responsible for trouble implementing lean. And this brings me to a cautionary point about using any step-by-step guide in lean. There are common themes and common problems that I see over and over. In fact, I seldom see a new problem anymore. The problem for our cookie-cutter approach is that the arrangement of these problems for an organization is unique, and the resources and environment they are operating under varies a lot. That means that there is no one right way to make a change in an organization. The actual progression you take should be based on something like my guide, but you'll need to customize it for your specific situations. So that said, I'd like to talk about my approach. My system is designed to help you create a business management system that is continuous improvement oriented. My continuous improvement development system is essentially a guidebook for you to work your way through the progression of becoming lean. Now again, the purists will argue that terminology. They will say become implies an end. I like to think, though, that the term continuous improvement covers the presumption that you'll never quit trying to get better. So back to my system. I've created a guide to walk you through developing your own business management system. The guide has 3 volumes. The first lays out what you'll be doing, spells out the principle-based approach to it, and basically gives structure and order to your efforts. I break these efforts down into phases to create focus. As you research lean, you'll find a massive, and I mean massive, list of things you have to do, and it can be extremely daunting. Breaking it down into phases is like the old joke about how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Now, to help with the inevitable sense of having an overwhelming list of things to do, I've developed a checklist as an appendix to the guide. Volume 2 is the Continuous Improvement Companion. It is a compilation of years of work creating a massive encyclopedia of terminology about continuous improvement. Included in the CIC is information about our extensive list of forms and tools to help you on your journey. And finally, Volume 3 is a tool to help you navigate our 1,000+ items of content. There are videos, blog posts, the aforementioned terms, forms, and tools, podcasts, training materials, FAQs, articles, strategies, lessons, and more. Volume 3 is a directory that puts our content into a sequence for each phase. It is intended to help you chart your educational path in a way that supports the checklist items. And I do recommend using our checklists or modifying them or creating your own, and make sure you focus on getting the foundation laid on the core skills of problem solving before you start to take on the graduate level work that comes with a sophisticated lean approach. The problem is that you need an infrastructure in place and skilled people on your team to be successful. One of the reasons I see for lean failing overall is that the efforts suffer too many avoidable failures because leaders try to go too far too fast. It doesn't take long to crumble the confidence a team has in the lean approach and chalks it up as being a flavor of the month program. It's hard to come back from that. Now I want to wrap up with what I see as the most important aspect to a successful CI effort. You've got to see it as a principle-based approach. It isn't a collection of tools. It is a set of rules that you must account for when operating your business system. Ignore them at your own peril. I introduce new principles with each phase so you can manage them all. So that's the overarching structure that you'll be operating under with my continuous improvement development system. And you'll be operating under it for a while. Another of the reasons that lean initiatives fail is that people get impatient. They want quick fixes, and building a new culture is a long game. You've got to stick with it and make sure you are ready to advance before you introduce new concepts. There are lots of estimates as to how long really is. I'd start out expecting to go about 2 years until you feel really comfortable with the changes and hit that safe point where going further is easier than going back. It will be 3 to 5 years until an outsider will recognize you as being a lean company, and probably 5 to 10 years before you get really good at it. But that's a long way off. In the near term, The next video in this series will dive into what each of the phases is and how they fit together. Thanks for watching. This is Jeff Hajek, wishing you a great start to your continuous improvement journey.